I'm going to turn it over to Tom.
Tom, before you start, Courtney, if you are recording, would you record her in speaker format because it makes it easier to capture the...
Yes, it's in speaker format.
Excellent.
Thanks, Gene, and please be safe down there.
Yeah.
And I'm Tom Blattner, and along with Gene, the founder of the Family Success Institute, and I want to welcome everybody to our learning community gathering, and we will get right to our legislative heroes in a minute. This just very, very briefly, what I'd like to say to, we have folks who've been with us for quite a while, and we have some new folks, and which is thrilling, because the way to keep this going is to keep us growing and develop our leadership, particularly for those who don't remember Romper Room, or who were, in the Romper Room when I was, middle age. But I, for those of you who were on the last call, I am tempted to apologize for my doom and gloom at that meeting, because the world seemed to be a pretty rough place. But if anything, it's even rougher now. I mean, it's both, in our country, and there's so much conflict everywhere. And then, of course, in the world, I don't even have to talk about the way the conflict is playing out in the world is just sad and horrific. But I also have had a chance to step back and realize several things. One is that our work, because of everything that's going on that's difficult, is incredibly more important than when we started. Everything that's going on has a very, very, very stressful impact on families, and the work that we're doing actually offers a message of hope. So I've begun to realize that, the work that you're doing on the ground and the work you're doing in communities is actually more important, and the message of hope that you offer is crucial to not only the present, but what the future will look like. And I also realized that there are some really, really good things that are happening that we need to, keep working on. One is, and you'll hear about them later, are the community action forums, which are the work that we're doing based upon a Robert Wood Johnson grant, which is to, at first, it was supposed to see if we could engage folks who never have a chance to talk about their lives and have an impact on policy into the process. And I would say that when you hear the report from our very, very impressive young leader who will give the report on the community action forums, I feel like we are demonstrating that people will are not only comfortable when they're given a chance to talk about what they need in their lives, but they're crucial to this. So community action forums are very, very exciting, incredibly important, and we have to keep growing them. And we'll be talking to you about that in a minute. And then the other thing, as Tim mentioned, is that we did have this rally in Trenton, and the assemblyman was just inspirational and energetic, and somehow we landed $4 million in the budget this year, which is really, a big, big step ahead. And now we have to get the legislation through so that we can start working on this work. But I guess what I want to say in welcoming the assembly folks is the only way that this message of hope is going to overcome the dynamics of conflict is by everybody being together, by collective impact. And our family success movement and the learning community really is all about everybody working together, creating open hearts, open minds, relating in love when conflict is so tempting. So Tim, I'm gonna turn to you to introduce our assembly folks.
Well, thanks, Tom. And again, the work that all of you on this meeting, Zoom, and others who have joined us before and will join us again, depending on their schedule, is the foundation on which the change that we are all seeking and that the family success movement is manifesting is all about. And maybe most important to its continuation beyond our continued effort is finding ways to codify that change so that as administrations shift and as leaders shift in both business and in philanthropy, as well as in government, that there is still a structural foundation upon which family success will thrive. And the two people who have led that charge of leading to codification of that movement's principles are with us today. The first is Assemblyman Atkins, who many of you have seen in a prior meeting or at the rally we held in Trenton, and who is the prime sponsor of the Community Recovery and Family Success Act. That bill is going to create a Family Success Council at the state level that will enable all of us, with the resources he helped us secure, to begin that process of building a statewide family success movement and service network that is community-based, community-directed, and also reflects the interests and needs of families in those communities. And while it will focus heavily on the children, as every other thing, it is about family, because without family, children struggle. So I'm going to start, Assemblywoman McKnight, with Assemblyman Atkins, and then we'll want to hear from you as well. But we thank you both for taking time to be with us today. Assemblyman Atkins.
Grace and peace, everybody. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you very much, Tim. Thank you to all of our champions throughout the state. So happy to see Julian Cherry with us. She's a champion right here in my backyard, literally a couple blocks over, and all the exciting stuff that she's doing to champion family success centers and her commitment to establishing something in Roselle and making it happen. I'm also excited to be joined with, wow, I'm about to call a Wonder Woman, but I'm happy to be with Assemblywoman Angela McKnight, who has been just dynamic on the Assembly. Personally, I'm gonna hate losing her because she's gonna be our next senator, and I'm proud to say that. I'm so proud to say that. She's just a apple in the Assembly's eye. So I'm happy about that. Today is all about family success. We've been able to move the bar, I believe, very well in the state of New Jersey, just by the mere fact that we were able to get funding for the Bill of Rights. And it's kind of interesting that people throughout the state, they called me, and they're like, Atkins, you're doing it for the families. And that's it. It's all about the families. As we take an opportunity to talk about it, we gotta always remind our constituents, as well as people that surround us, that the cornerstone of our community, everything that we do, it's literally the family. We're supporting everything else. We're supporting wars. We're supporting everything that's out there. We need to support our families in order for New Jersey to stay strong, in order for us to have growth, development, for us to be a well-developed community. We need family success centers. It's not merely about buildings. It's not merely about being just pillars of hope, but it's all about strengthening the unity of our neighborhoods. And the only way that we do that is to prepare our children. We got to develop programs and partner with the right people, such as the folks that's on this call, that's focused in on making sure that families and children go to the next level. It's all about mental health services. It's all about providing the families with every resource that they need in order to be successful. And in order to do that, we literally need support, we need funding, we need more than just legislators just saying, yep, that's what we need. We actually need you to sign on. I'm so happy to have Angela McKnight on this particular call, because she's one of our champions. Literally in the Assembly, we have 4 sponsors, and listen to this, we literally have over 18 co-sponsors, which means that we have just about the majority of the Assembly that's on that's on our side, saying that family success is very important. Not only that, but also on the Senate side, we have 4 sponsors, and I've already been in contact just last night with our Senate president, talking about how important this is to get it done. I'm excited because even the Black Caucus has made this a part of one of the most important pieces of legislations that get passed, because that's what it's all about. We have to have support. I believe we have that. I believe Tim has been in contact with the governor's office. We've made phone calls, as well as have written some emails, how important this is to us. We've also sat down with the Speaker of the House in my office and told him that these are one of our priorities that we need to get done. So I'm excited where we are and where we need to be. So we need for you to continue calling. We need for you to continue writing email to all of our legislators, whether they are prime sponsors or co-sponsors. We need for you to continue your efforts, because this is how we get it across the finish line. Let me tell you something. Right here in my office, this is what it's all about. It's about family success. It's about empowering families. And that's what we're going to do throughout the whole state with your help. Thank you very much. I'm Assemblyman Atkins. I'm a champion for family success along with you, and we're going to do this together. Thank you, Tim. I appreciate the opportunity.
Well, we are thrilled that you are here, but even more thrilled with how strongly, persistently, and consistently you have championed this initiative. And before turning this over to Assemblywoman and soon to be Senator McKnight, I just want to remind us all that this is a really important point in this exercise and effort. And write a friend, write a legislator, write a local council person, tell someone you know that this bill, A4819, and its companion Bill of Rights for Children and Families, is at the heart of codifying the family success movement, and we have an opportunity right now to get it done. And with that brief reminder of the great words Assemblyman Atkins offered, let me turn it over to Assemblywoman McKnight, and thank you so much for being here, as well as for all you have and continue to do to move this forward.
Good morning. Thank you so much, Tim. Thank you. And you put me after the Reverend. You know, he's just not an assemblyman. He's a Reverend. You want to put me after him. And I am thrilled to be and on the Zoom and also in the caucus with the Reverend. Atkins is amazing. He came into and just took, you know, just kept going and kept going. His energy level is like 150, if not more. And it is an with him, and for him to allow me to champion this with him, I am honored. However, what I'm also all of you.
You're breaking up a little bit, and we're having trouble hearing you.
To not only contact fellow legislators, but we need you to contact your in support of this bill. That's more power. We can, you know, that's more power, because it tells the state that this city and that state, this city and that municipality, they also agree with family success. Now, we talk about mental health. We talk about domestic violence. We talk about the environment. But all of that stems with the family. If we are not able to keep the family whole, all of that just kind of goes down the drain. And the family success centers, you are touching the entire family. The entire family. So all of those services that we're doing, like a la carte, Family Success Center is doing it one-stop shop. So why not support the Family Success Center? So I stand here with you and for you, and I will continue to fight with you and for you to make it across the finish line, so that Family Success Centers are recognized as a whole and not a supplement. And I appreciate all of you for allowing me to come on and see your beautiful faces. This is what it's all about. There's all walks of life on this call. And together we can push this family success bill forward. So continue to make those phone calls, continue to do those emails, contact your local legislators, as well as your county commissioners, because they too can do an ordinance in support of this bill, both bills. So start reaching out to them now, and tell a friend and tell a friend and tell a friend, and tell someone who knows everybody, that they too can contact all of us to say, we need family success bill done. So you have me. I am a friend. I am a colleague. I am a family member. Family Success Centers, you are the core of what keeps the family together. So thank you so much. And it is an honor to be here with you all this bright early morning.
Here, here.
Oh, thank you so much to both of you for being here and your enthusiasm, and we will do anything we possibly can to help you be successful, because if New Jersey passes the legislation, Assemblywoman, that you have proposed, it will be groundbreaking. It will go way, way beyond family success centers. It will cut across every service and be a unifying factor for families. So, you know, that this legislation, these two pieces of legislation will be cutting edge, not only in New Jersey, but throughout the country. But more importantly, will make a difference for families who are living in their communities, who are future. We're at a point now where we're either gonna figure out a way to forge ahead, because things have almost gotten to the point of falling apart completely, and something new and good has to emerge, or we're going to continue to, you know, sort of slide and, you know, flounder. And your two pieces of legislation for the two of you are a keystone in terms of making the future bright. So thank you so much for joining us.
Most welcome.
And Assemblyman Atkins, your enthusiasm is not only fiery and from the pulpit, but it's also infectious. So I'm infected by your love and your commitment to this. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Tom.
You know, now I'm supposed to follow that. Thanks a lot. So we have a lot of items to go through in our agenda, but I think that the most important aspect of this agenda are the people who have become members of our learning community. And because Gina and I, when we started this whole thing, it was really, there were two people, and now it's grown into, you know, people from all over the state, and all different aspects of, you know, helping people have a good chance for a good life, and et cetera. So I'm going to just, I'd like to follow up with this Assemblyman Atkins' mention of Julianne Cherry, because Union County was one of the first counties who embraced and helped develop the family success work through Jim Horn when he was the director of the United Way in Grady, Union County. And now we have a wonderful new head of the United Way there, who was, we're just getting to meet, but in looking at her background, she has touched literally every aspect of the family success framework, from health to education, to food insecurity, to community action. And so Julianne Cherry, congratulations on your new position, and I hope you can offer us a few words.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tom and Tim, for the invite. First, Assemblyman Reverend Reginald Atkins. No, I don't think anyone could follow all of that. Thank you so much for being a champion for us to help move our families in New Jersey forward. And Angela McKnight, congratulations in advance, because we know that you are going to be our next senator. So everyone, please vote November 7th. So a little bit about me. I have worked 26 years in the underserved community. 10 of those years I worked at the Community Food Bank of New Jersey as the Director of Agency Relations, overseeing all the partnerships in New Jersey. And I always knew when I worked there that the family success model was important to help move families forward, whether it be, not just providing access to food, but also providing access to diapers, maxi pads, and different resources just to make sure our families thrive. The other 16 years of my career, I've been executive directors of organizations providing access to health and wellness, advocacy, and reintegration back into society. So I'm happy to join the United Way of Greater Union County. I'm happy to help move our families in the state of New Jersey forward. And I'm also happy to see how we, United Way, can help move Union County families forward as well. So anything you need on my end, whether it be the community forums, I am all on board. We need to do this together. And I believe that as this big group is together, we are better together. So thank you for this opportunity for me to join this amazing group of individuals.
Oh, great. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and we're looking forward to working together.
Thank you.
Because our success is only going to be, it's only going to happen if we are figuring out different ways to work together. And one of the unfortunate things that happened in human services and health over the last 20 years is it's become a competition model rather than a cooperation model. And in talking to families, I mean, they have a variety of needs, as we all do, and the only way those needs can be met and in a friendly way to them is if we're figuring out better ways to work together and actually create actions on the ground that respond to what they're articulating as their not only their needs but also their dreams for the future. So really appreciate you joining us and joining the learning community.
Thank you.
This has also been a really interesting time of comings and goings, and one of our original colleagues and champions that you've all heard from through the years is been the executive director of Parents Inc., which is a statewide organization to support parents. And somehow Kathy Rowe has figured out a way to retire. And when we talked about this, she said that she is actually not retired. She's retiring from her job, but she's not retiring from her cause. So Kathy, I'd like to ask you to say a couple of words about where you are in your journey and where the leadership of Parents Inc. Is in this next generation. Kathy?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Tom. Yes, finally retired, only 40 years and forever. But as I told Tom, I'm not retiring, I'm evolving, which means that I am so excited to remain a part of this family success movement. To me, I mean, I look at the screen and I see people that have been here as long as I have. I see new folks. And what really just gets me so excited is the fact that this is our chance. This is our one chance to do things differently. We have seen how this system is broken. We have seen how we wait until families fall off the edge before we help them. And I'm so tired of people talking about parents and families and what they need. What's, to me, the most exciting part about the work that we're going to do moving forward is that it's not going to be us fixing people anymore. It's going to be families and communities being involved in every aspect of any system that is trying to help them, being able to give their feedback, tell people what works, what doesn't work, what we really need as parents and families. Because sadly, over the last 30, 40, 50 years, we have not done it well. And it's up to us to change it. And why I'm very, very excited is because the team that I left at Parents Anonymous with Doreen Finley, with Lori Camiotti, is now being led by somebody that I have admired for a very long time and worked with for a very long time, and that's Miss Jackie Edwards. I first met Jackie when we got a Pascal Sykes grant, and they decided that they would support our Keensburg Father Time program. Jackie was the Vice President of Strategic Planning and Development, and just from the time I met her, I knew that she was an advocate at heart. And it's my greatest pleasure to introduce Jackie and to tell you how excited I am that the team with her and Doreen are going to move this agency forward in a way that will make me so proud. So Jackie, welcome to the learning community, one of our newest members. Please introduce yourself a little bit.
Thank you, Kathy. Thank you so much for all that. Those accolades, truly appreciate them. Again, I'm Jackie Edwards, and I've actually been providing services to families for over 40 years in various capacities. I started my career working with people with disabilities, working with United Cerebral Palsy for over 20 years. And then I also worked in the homeless services field, working at Catholic Charities, running their community services program, supporting individuals, families that are homeless, in food insecurity, working with individuals that are human trafficking, and then also spent over 10 years in philanthropy, and recently leaving the philanthropy world. And so I am working in philanthropy. Our focus, one of our major focuses toward the end of the foundation closing, was really doubling down on supporting families and working with the approach that the Pascal Sykes Foundation has researched. It's called the whole family approach, and it just echoes what everyone has been saying here today, that families are the center of the support. Families know what they need, and they should be directing their supports and having input. And so the whole family approach model is something that we feel is evidence-based. Actually, it's been proven that it does work, including families. And my work here at Parents Inc., I will continue that. And thank you so much, Kathy, for leaving me with a great support in Doreen and Lori and the team. So thank you. And thanks for welcoming me into the learning community.
Thank you so much, Jackie, and welcome. We're really looking forward to working with you as well. And I think what's so interesting about this is that this movement is evolving. It's not only getting bigger and broader, but the talent is getting deeper. And I think the challenge is, are we going to be able to figure out how to link our energy with one another, with the work we're doing on the ground, and really make this a groundswell, because we really are at a crossroads here. And all the energy and the expertise that you represent is going to really make a difference in the future. So there's another person that we're sort of moving into the voices from the community, because we have a new voice in the community who has been a voice for family success for years. And that is the former executive director of the Community Planning and Action Council of Camden County. And Deanna Cooper, along with Kathy, have been the co-conveners of the parent policy group. So Deanna, as a community member, can you offer a few words to us?
Sure. Good morning, everyone. I apologize. My neighbor's lawn service is here doing their lawn, so if you hear something in the background. But first, good morning to everyone, and I just appreciate continuing to work with you all. And yes, I did retire, but I didn't retire from doing the work that I love. I just separated my finances from the work that I do. And I just love helping people. That is my calling, is service. And one of the things that I love about the Family Success Institute, the movement and everything, is just natural. There's no defense against kindness. Everyone wants to be successful. We want our families to be successful. And that's one of the things I have always been an advocate for, because when we start off first with our children and everything, they don't come with instructions. Families just sort of learn from the seat of their pants. And I always say, get the right resources to the right families at the right times, because this will continue to help families to get the resources they need. And one of the things I learned, I went to an event this weekend, and they said, what we do not repair, we will repeat. So let's make sure we're all out there and continue to work. I'm so excited about all the support. I'm excited about everybody continuing the Parents Inc. welcome aboard Jackie Edwards and Anita Wimple at the Community Planning and Advocacy Council. I know we're all going to continue to do this work and do it well. Thank you.
Thanks, Deanna. So another person who is emerging and has been involved with this work for a long time, but is emerging as a real powerful voice in the family success movement. And one of the challenges I think to all of us is, there's a lot of talk, and I don't think anybody can disagree with the talk we're offering, but walking the walk, but at the legislative, at the policy level, but also at the community level, is a real challenge. And this gentleman, who I've now known for quite a while now, has become a very vocal and clear advocate for family success, not only in these forums and with the legislature and the powers that be, but in his own community in the South Ward of Newark. And Dominique, I would hope that you would not be as humble as you usually are. Talk about what you do, man. You're an incredible person doing incredible work at different levels. So tell us what's happening.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, Tom. I'm humbled because it's always like we're all doing this work together, and what I am doing is no different from the many individuals that are on the Zoom screen in front of me. So that is why it is always hard to kind of talk about what we are doing. But I will say in this way, we started 14 years ago as a traditional public school turnaround partner, and from that experience learned that it had to be more comprehensive. And the rationale of being more comprehensive is because the system that we are operating in was designed for our families to not be successful. It is rooted in racism. It is rooted in keeping wealth in the top 1%. And so if they were comprehensive in creating a system that does not allow for families to live the dreams that they set for themselves, then we have to be comprehensive and strategic around unwinding that system. So just us focusing in the education space was not going to lead towards ending the cycle of generational poverty. So from that experience for 14 years, we have really been building an ecosystem and infrastructure to support our children and families in the 2-generation format. From running exceptional quality schools, which I'm always proud to say that our schools are always ranked in the top 10% in terms of academic achievement. I'm an educator, true heart to heart, to expanding our portfolio, running a family support division, housing partnerships, career and workforce development, perinatal strategies to support gestational parents from the point of when they're pregnant to all the way up to kindergarten. And through all of this experience and our new iterations, really our career and workforce development pathway program, supporting families and our high schoolers in the ways of putting them on pathways to meaningful careers, just not getting a college degree, because that has yielded us for the past 20 years for people of color. College degree has not been the game changer, and we have been saddled with debt and just in low income, low wage jobs, even with a degree. So how do we move individuals towards more meaningful careers? And so that we're continuing to push on this work, continue to learn from others, continue to challenge ourselves, and continue to push forward. But it all takes a collective, which we are on this call, to push on a system that does not want anything to change. And there are powers that be that have the resources and the checkbooks to keep that system in the way that it is. So with voices of us, we can counterbalance their checkbooks with the actual voices of people in the rooms that make the rules that we all play by aspect. So I appreciate everyone on this call.
Thank you, Dominique. I couldn't break your humility, could I? So one theme that I'm seeing is the emergence of younger, and it doesn't take much to be younger than me, but younger leaders who are sort of popping up all over the place. And at one of our future meetings, I am going to somehow get the young and humble and dynamic and amazing new leaders in Monmouth County to talk about what they're doing. Because I think a number of them are on the call today, but the work that is going on, and the new folks have joined us, and Dominique's work. I mean, we are definitely developing the next generation of leadership of this. But I think that the thing that I both am excited about and I'm worried about is, this is not only changing policy and changing programs and everything, it's really changing relationships. And our Community Action Forum work, I think, has gone from an idea to the point where we've actually proven that if people in the community have a chance to come in and sit down in a safe place and talk about what their needs and aspirations are, that the idea of this movement being community driven can actually happen. So I'm really excited about the Community Action Forum project, and I would like to turn the meeting over to Mr. Cardin. And so I'm not only gratified for the young leadership that's emerging, but I'm also gratified that my dear friend and colleague Tim Cardin, who is almost as old as I am, and we've worked together for I can't even imagine how many years, has jumped in to be the executive director of our institute and has really, really helped us, surge forward. So, before I turn to Tim, anybody have any other thoughts today about, where we are and what's happening in your world? I know, Charlie, you had some.
I just like to say one thing, because I was very moved by Assemblywoman McKnight and Assemblyman Atkins. And, at times get kind of frustrated that things aren't moving faster or get impatient. But this is a long haul. And I know Tim and Erica will be talking about what's happening. But the one thing I want to say is we can't rest on our laurels, because as we gain some success, the opposition, I call it the unintended indifference to the voice of people and the voice of community, is only going to get stronger. I think Dominique said it well. Those who hold the checkbooks, and we saw there were billions of dollars that came into our state in the last couple of years. A lot of it for mental health, a lot of it fractured without conversation with community members, a lot of it wasted, in my opinion. It's just going to get worse as we get more success. So we have to get stronger. And everything that's been said today about getting more people involved, about getting more support from our elected officials, about informing our friends, our neighbors, and others about the importance of this work. I just feel that we have to stick with it, because it's going to get tough. We're going to get some success coming up here, but then it's going to get tougher. So I don't want to be negative, but I was very inspired by what everyone has said and very committed to keeping it going.
Thanks, Charlie. Appreciate it. And it's a difficult environment, and it's the issues that we're challenging. Dominique, you talked about a number of issues that are, income distribution and racial and ethnic equity, and different people making decisions in different ways. These are not easy tweaks to our society, but this group of people really can make a difference. So, Charlie, I appreciate your words. And Timothy, before I turn it over to you, because I know we're going to get into the nitty gritty of some of this work, I think that our person that I've dubbed as our Oracle of Family Success is on the line. Thomas, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
There he is.
Good. How's everyone doing? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, and you sound great.
Oh, thank you. Is this something Charlie just said? And I'm always reading, but there's a letter I would ask everybody just to read as we get into this work. It's called "A Talk to Teachers" by James Baldwin. That really, Charlie, just wrapped it up. And the line that I always share with all the young people I work with, it says, "To any citizen who figures himself as responsible, and particularly those of you who deal with the minds and hearts of young people, must be prepared to go for broke." Or to put it another way, you must understand that an attempt to correct so many generations of bad faith and cruelty when it's operating not only in the classroom, but in society, you will meet the most fantastic, the most brutal, and the most determined resistance. There's no point in pretending that's not going to happen. And this is James Baldwin from back then, so it echoes what Charlie said as well as what Dominique said, particularly around society as well as the classroom. So, and for me, the way we come against that, I'm gonna go from James Baldwin to Jasmine Sullivan. People who know Jasmine Sullivan, she's got a song called Roster that is in my head constantly. And one of the lines that just stays in my head is, the world's too big to think so small. I've got room to love them all. So, you know, if we could just kind of get that mindset, and as much as it's about practice and about, you know, it's really about mindset also. It's about not soaking kids in deficit and trauma and never dealing with joy. You know, one of the things, 3 things we deal with under our mission statement at Mentor Newark is joy, purpose, and opportunity. That's where we're starting at. And so when we did my strategic plan, I told them I needed to start. The first word I need to see is joy, not statistics, not numbers. We're dealing with young people. We're dealing with families. There should be some joy involved. So I just want you to remember, as we do the work, remember the joy, laugh, play some music in the office, dance with the kids in the centers, and really that joy will rejuvenate you and keep you girded for the work. So I just wanted to give you that. That's been working for me. And also I shared in the chat to that point, this summer we did a project with some young people from Newark Arts High School, where they actually curated an exhibit, a museum level exhibit around the work of Prince. So it's actually downtown in the Haynes Building. We'll be up there till the end of November. And it's just a fantastic project because historically people know that when the kids come into their place and they're working, they walk in, they talk about how their grandmothers told them there was a time they couldn't go into the Haynes Building, or, you know, when it was apartment stores. So it's a historical context. But now you walk in there, these young people's faces on the wall, and they kind of own it. So it's it's been really meaningful for us. If you get a chance to stop by, please come by. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Thomas. And I'm glad that you mentioned love and joy, because I've been challenged with some of those issues myself through some of these dark days, and I've come to realize that that's the only way. Yeah. And you know, more and more, the world is thinking that strength is conflict and, you know, beating somebody and killing somebody, and, you know, actually love is much stronger. Yes. In a lot of ways more difficult, and loving one another while we're going through this is going to be so crucial. And, you know, loving with an open heart, with open hearts and open minds and open ears. Mm-hmm. And then turning all this talk into action on the ground. We really can make a difference. So with that, Timothy, I will turn the floor to you. Thank you. Thank you, Thomas.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you, Tom, and thank you everyone who is here, and all those who join us on a daily basis who aren't happen to be able to join us at this particular moment, because we are challenging the forces of intransigence, the forces of the status quo, and any movement that does that with full knowledge that the resources and direction of those forces are powerful and resistant to change. But this change is obvious. This change does not, in theory, face objection. You talk to anyone about enabling families to succeed and their heads nod. So it is not the mission that is in question. It is what it does to the system that's there, and those that feel threatened by it are going to be resistant. But we together, this force is greater than that, without question. And by supporting one another in this effort, we build and enable that strength to grow. And a central part of this has been the development and now the execution of community action forums across the state. And that exercise has kept us as a group honest to our mission, which is not solely to share our aspirations among ourselves and with each other and to build this community, but rather to ensure that we are able and committed to empowering the voices of those whom we see as the evidence of the system's failure, to join that dialogue, to be part of the solution, and to have their interests, their visions, their aspirations heard. And we are doing that. The success we've achieved in this regard is in no small part a result of the efforts of people at this meeting and people who have participated, who are not part of, but the learning community at large, and led, thank goodness, by someone who embraces community empowerment, social justice, and the importance of that to the future of this community, this state, and this country. And that's Erica Harris DeVal. She has done an extraordinary job. And before I turn the floor over to Erica to share with you some of where we are today and where we are hoping to get to next, I have to give you a homework assignment that will, without question, inspire you to believe that where we are today is the starting point or midpoint of an extraordinary achievement, and we should not be daunted by it. And that homework assignment is to find and watch a new movie called Rustin that is going to be on Netflix. And it is about Bayard Rustin, the extraordinary organizer of the 1963 March on Washington. In face of extraordinary personal and professional challenges, he, more than any other individual, in less than 2 months, organized that march, which had brought 250,000 people to the mall in Washington. And the effects of that march are legendary and seen across the country. But the movie itself will leave you with, we are able to do this. We are able to be successful, and it's only a matter of staying united, staying purposeful, and continuing to grow where we are today. And with that, I'll turn it over to Erica to give us a quick update on how extraordinary our achievements have been just to date.
Thanks, Tim. Hi, everybody. My name is Erica. I'm the Director of Strategic Initiatives for the Family Success Institute, and part of my role has been doing a lot of the project management behind the community action forums. So for anybody who might not know, last summer, FSI kind of launched this initiative called Community Action Forums, which really seeks to provide opportunities to engage with local community members across the state of New Jersey in discussions where, we really seek and platform their thoughts on their communities, their hopes for their communities, their aspirations for themselves and their families. And we've done so in partnership with a lot of the people here, a lot of people who are in the community, the learning community as a whole. So since last June, we have had 20 community action forums and counting, with 15 different partner organizations. And we've heard from hundreds of community members about their current experiences and their hopes for the future. So we're now at this stage looking ahead to having a statewide summit in the first quarter of 2024. So we're eyeing March right now. And the purpose of the summit is to have the participants in the community action forums, these local community members, present their findings and reflections directly. So they would be, our keynote speakers, to an audience of decision makers, legislators, leaders, people who work on policy, in an effort to really redirect policy and resources to support family success. So that is in the works right now. I do want to note that while we're planning the statewide summit, we do really want to continue having community action forums. So if you are interested in hosting a community action forum or another community action forum, if you've already hosted one, or if you can think of somebody, an organization that might be interested, shoot me an email. I'll put my email address in the chat right now. so that, yeah, if anybody is interested or wants to connect me with someone to talk to them a bit more about hosting a community action forum and what that looks like, I would really, really love to talk to you. So, okay, I'm gonna put my email address in the chat. Yeah, feel free to reach out. And I also have a quick video to share with you all. These are some video clips that we have from community action forums that have been hosted across the state. So I'll go ahead and share my screen and share that with you all. Okay.
The amount of fragmented efforts across large organizations results in diffusion of focus and resources and the opportunities to collaborate.
I think because there's not enough communication out there, that sets the roadblocks to knowing what services are needed for our children in the community. And, just the underprivileged, we just don't have, the resources may be there, but the lack of communication from the people that, that are in service, getting it out into the community to really, to bring the people.
And if we reclaim some of these abandoned buildings, we can turn them into housing, which will give people housing, improve the community, and also provide tax revenue for the city as well.
And the wild thing is, for a lot of these services, the very people who need them are the ones who are going to have the most difficulty accessing them. So I personally, I know how to fight through. I've made a lot of workarounds to get things done in a way that, I don't continually sink through life, but many people haven't. Right?
I think more community input, the better, because we're the ones that live.
Not throw away children because they're not in a supportive family.
Mm-hmm.
They're not in a supportive housing program. We have to stop this prison pipeline that snaps our kids, grabs our kids early. These are young kids who are in detention, who will have likely a recidivism pattern that we're seeing them in Trenton, Northern State, and Rawley, because there are no interventions or significant systemic interventions available in their communities or in their school.
They had more things for kids to do, like not just like after school activities, but things like social sessions where they can talk and talk about how they're feeling, talk about how they're dealing with school and home, because sometimes kids, they don't want to talk to their parents about certain things. So it would be nice if they have some kind of community thing to come together to be able to express how they feel, how they really feel and what they're going through.
A successful family is trying to work together, get to understanding each other, trying to build each other up to get to where we need to be, and we could raise our kids in a good way.
Today, a lot of kids grow up in a household with only one parent, either the mom or the dad. And I just feel like that if we all got on the same page together, our kids would be more successful in life, because now they have two parents and they have an understanding of seeing things in different ways. They can be successful in life. And it's not all of just about failure. Sometimes failure means you have to grow. So just teaching the children that, that you can grow, to learn, new things.
If there was more opportunities for these children and people to do, even the fathers, they need more of those programs where they teach you trades and stuff like that. Sure, there's some out there, but there aren't many of them. There need to be more of them. You know what I mean? You have a problem getting a job? Go out and learn to be an electrician. Go to a free school, become an electrician. All of a sudden now you're making a decent living for your family. They have to make these programs more available to people.
So those are just a few of, the videos, the people who have participated in these forums, and our hope is, you know, to have more. We really want to continue engaging with local communities and be able to include as many people as we can, as many perspectives as we can into the statewide summit. So again, if you are interested in hosting a forum or another forum, please email me. I'd love to talk with you.
Erica, I'm sorry, I got a little diverted with my puppy, but did you mention that there is financial stipends or whatever available to participants?
Yes, I didn't mention that, but thank you so much for bringing that up, Jean. So we provide $30 stipends for every participant that participates in a community action forum. And then we also, you know, can help in terms of, you know, planning costs. So for videographers, we can provide a videographer. We also, you know, refreshments, things like that, things that go into the planning process of an event. We're here to support on all of that as well. So yeah, please feel free to reach out to me and we can talk about, you know, getting the ball rolling.
Erica, I know you don't like to blow your own horn, but the fact that you have put together the toolkit for people, I mean, I think that we, the Family Success Institute, we want to do as many community forums as we can. And you have made it so easy. She has a toolkit that tells you exactly how to do it, the kind of information, the lists, you know, you could just print them out. And I think it's important, especially with new members here today, to talk about, you know, what areas haven't we reached? You know, by the time we get to this summit, we don't want somebody to say, well, gee, nobody talked to, you know, the autism community, or nobody talked to the disability community. So I'd like to just open it up a little bit and see if, you know, if people can think about what are some of, you know, we're so siloed as you know, as a country, as a state, but we want to be able to reach as many communities as possible so that these things are not just focus groups anymore. You know, we've all been through those, right? We don't need any more of those. Community action forums is about getting communities involved, giving power to them and sharing that power. Charlie, you said unintended indifference. I think it's very much intended indifference. And when you start to ask people to share power, that's when they start to put their hands up. So, you know, how about if we just open it up and we start to do a little bit of brainstorming of where we've done things and where we still, what communities we still need to do some of these forums in.
I'd like to jump in if I can. First of all, Erica, again, nice to see you. We've been partnering with Erica regarding the community action forums. It was kind of serendipitous. We launched our Prevention by Design last year, which included in the thought of it what's called community conversations that really would empower the community. Instead of having a type of community-placed type of intervention and prevention, we did a true community-based intervention. And if we're going to do true community-based intervention, we realized we have to include the voices of community in real time in the forming of prevention design. So it was serendipitous to have the community action and to have a part of our logic model that speaks to community action within it. So the partnership was just organic. And we did begin to work with Erica, and the results have been tremendous. My prevention director at last report discussed a bit about when we did the community forum. We did a few community forums, one with nurses. It was about 100 nurses in our community here in Essex County. And then we did a few schools in the South Ward. And then we're continuing to do those conversations. And what we are learning in regards to what we're missing in regards to the service provision is mind-boggling. We thought we knew, right? Because we were doing community-placed organization. We have these studies, we have these assessments that we do, and then we speak to them as we intervene when they come to us. But what we're not learning and what we're missing is what Erica said and what you said, Kathleen, and probably Charlie as well, is that we're not keeping the conversation fluid enough so that we are pivoting, we are amending our approach in real time to have the impact in real time in a way that's measurable in real time. So I think what Erica, we've used your model, because instead of reinventing the wheel, instead of reinventing the wheel, we just said, well, this is exactly what we needed to build. So we built it, and we're starting those conversations in our community. Our goal for the prevention work that we're doing is over the next 6 years, we're going to hit every segment of Essex County. And the prevention design will model the culture of each segment of our community. That's what the Voice is all about. That's what the Action Forum allows us to do, is to bend the prevention work and design of prevention for that community to that community. I'll close with this last statement, which is a very powerful one that I learned from the last report from my director. What we've learned is that the approach in South Ward, and we chose as the second pilot community, was West Caldwell. We wanted to have two opposing, diametrically opposing type of cultures. And we're learning that in regards to child abuse and neglect, there is a cultural component that prevents us from having a proper conversation with the community in West Caldwell, which we were very effective because we knew the conversation, because we spent more time in understanding how to speak to the community in South Ward, in the North Ward of Newark. We couldn't use the same approach. We learned that through this community forum. They educated us that our speech, our breath as we speak to them has to be different. And we've been tailoring now our prevention work for the same type of information, right? Child abuse and neglect, the risk factors and the protective factors, all of those things, to West Caldwell. And they are now receiving us, and we're having more success. So I just want to give the example of the success that can be had with these forums.
Thanks so much, Dominic.
Does anybody else?
What about geographical
Mm-hmm.
coverage, Erica?
Yeah. So right now, a big need of ours is South Jersey. Like we really, really want to be able to have more forums in South Jersey. And we have some great partners who are, suggesting some organizations for us to reach out to, but I would like to open that ask up to this group as well. If you know of organizations, work at an organization, or have any connections to organizations in South Jersey, please, I would love it if you could send that my way. And I'll reach out, or if you would want to just connect me via email, that works too. But that's a big geographical need of ours.
If I could just go a step beyond that, it might be helpful if this group and or the broader learning community knew where our forums have occurred and who the conveners were, because there are, in terms of diversity, there's geographic, there's areas of interest or focus, whether that's disability or autism, as Kathy mentioned, or language barriers. We've had one or two forums that were hosted and in Spanish, but there may be other languages, and we certainly could go beyond that. So a starting point would be if we collectively had awareness as to where forums have occurred and the host convener, because that'll give a sense of what the audience or participants were likely to do. And Erica, is that a list you could put in the chat? But I think it may be easier to send it. If you put it in the chat, we should also subsequently get it out to other members of the learning community with a note saying we would love to hear your thoughts or ideas on where to expand.
Yeah, I'll pull up our Community Action Forum like update newsletter, and I can drop that in the chat.
Great.
Just give me 1 second.
I also see in the chat that David Armstrong had mentioned, let's not forget youth and, you know, get them involved, have some youth forums. Dave?
Thank you, Kathy. Hello, everyone. Thank you for the invite to this space. I really appreciate it. As a parent leader, as a parent partner, I consider myself that we are partners with lived experience that we bring to the table. We just important as everyone in this. So together we could do it. I mentioned earlier too that don't forget the dads. Invite the dads to the tables and male caregivers is very important because the system doesn't have us really being invited. The system don't have the service and support that dads need to move us forward to make a better family. But also just as important, are we engaging our youth? Are we going to the source and asking them, what do they need or what do they think or what, you know, how should we process? Because they are future leaders and we need to definitely hear their voice in the work that we're doing. Thank you so much again. I appreciate it.
And we can thank Thomas Owens for leading one of our early youth community action forums, but we certainly need more, and that's a really important point. And I'm giving a shout out to Karen Andrade Mins, who has been such a champion for fathers throughout the state and who has helped raise that issue, David, that is so important to family success. And we need to, again, make certain that we have accommodated forums that include or even focus on fatherhood and the challenges of that in this community.
Absolutely. And I thank you for bringing that up, David and Tim. Erica, I was going to reach out to you about something else, but I think we'll host one here for the Father Center because it would be great to have, first of all, Trenton doesn't seem to be represented, at least not in the video. So I'm not sure how many forums have been held here in the capital city, but we will do one at the Father Center. So I'll be in touch.
That sounds amazing. Thank you, Karen.
Anybody
So don't go ahead, Kathy.
Anybody else? Ideas to share? Like to jump in and volunteer? All right, Tim, I'll take it back to you.
Well, let's recognize that we are approaching 9:45 and we started at 8:30 and we don't want to establish a reputation for running meetings that go on endlessly. And I love both the efficiency and the dynamism that these gatherings have achieved. But let me turn for a minute to where we are in the legislative process and the fact that we had both Assemblywoman McKnight and Assemblyman Atkins with us today is an indication that we are alive and well. You talk about the challenges of succeeding as an organization and as a movement that has enormous potential. And if common sense is sort of the underlying piece of this, again, no one challenges the concept that families should succeed, but codifying that, building that into our legislative system and into our administrative system confronts the obstacles that Charlie mentioned that we're all aware of, that there's a system out there that thrives on siloed and independent and top-down approaches to providing service, and that not out of malice, but out of evolution, has always said, we'll be there when the ship is halfway underwater. Well, we're not sure we're going to be there before that point, and we are changing that. We are changing that immediately. Right now, both bills, the Bill of Rights for Children and Families and the Community Recovery and Family Success Act, are introduced in both chambers of the legislature. This legislature will end on December 31st of this year. There will be a lame duck period of frantic bill effort and enactment between November 7th, which is the election, and the end of the year and the start of the new session. We believe that there is real potential not certainty that these bills can be heard in committee in both the Senate and Assembly, and then voted on the floor of the Assembly and the Senate, and brought to the governor's desk in that compressed time period. It is a tall order, but Assemblyman Atkins has committed himself to pursuing that. When he said that he had spoken, his district in Union County is the home of our Senate President, Nick Scutari, and he has a strong relationship, and they have communicated on this. He has also communicated with the Speaker of the Assembly, Craig Coughlin, who is from Middlesex County, and from the same district that Senator Vitale, who chairs the committee into which the bills have been introduced in the Senate, sits. In addition, our co-prime sponsor of the Assembly bill, Shavonda Sumter, chairs the Assembly committee into which the Community Recovery and Family Success Act is been referred. She is the one who, when they host or assemble a committee meeting between November and December 31, can call that bill to be heard by the committee, and once it's been heard by the committee, it goes to the floor. Without getting into speculation as to how we get all of that done, we believe that there is real potential, and that our voices, however expressed, just by virtue of this meeting and the ability to talk about it to others, will remind people how common sense and empowered and important enactment of this legislation is. It is transformative. The transformation will not occur overnight, but there is, and the legislators point to this, there is for the first time $4 million in the FY fiscal year 2024 budget dedicated to beginning implementation of a Community Recovery and Family Success Act, an act that will create a statewide Family Success Council in which the majority of members will be from the community and from local government, from parent advocates and others, but also will be sitting at the table with 7 cabinet officers, each agency holding resources that put together collectively, targeted in a coordinated fashion, can enable family success. And that is a forum that once in place, it will stumble, it will be challenged, and there's not a lot of money in the first year, but a dialogue and a method and a path will have been charted that is unprecedented, not just in New Jersey, not just in New Jersey. It is unprecedented in this country, and it will catch fire. The community level efforts at family success, evidenced by the work that many of you have undertaken and seeded and nurtured over many years, is percolating up. This is the effort now to put it in a position to be a principal recipient of government direction, policy, and resources, and we can do it. So if you have a friend, a neighbor, a councilman, a commissioner at the county level, let them know that this is our moment. Let them know that it can be done this year. And just to be clear, we may or may not succeed by December 31. A lot happens. At the same time, those champions you saw today and their peers or their comrades in the Senate will reintroduce that bill. The money in the next session, which starts January 1, and the money will be there, and will only be a matter of saying what we didn't accomplish by December 1, let's get it done by January. But at the moment, stick with the year-end goal, do what you can, and be encouraged that it is all happening. It is all happening because of your commitment. You're showing up here. You're doing the work on a day-to-day basis that is illustrating in communities across this state that family success is within our grasp. It is a mission we can all embrace, and it is a matter of keeping our eye on the ball and our shoulder to the wheel. So that happens to be the community legislative update, and I'll turn it back to Tom to share final thoughts and to open dialogue on other matters we should consider.
Thank you, Tim. Well, we've had a lot of words today, haven't we? A lot of talk. And I can hear the minds of my silent friends in Monmouth County saying blah, 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 blah. Where's the walk? And I think for all of us, you know, I think about the different initiatives that I've been involved with through the years. And I am going to challenge you to this word prevention. I know it's supposed to be a great thing, but the term prevention is organized around preventing 20,000 symptoms of bad things happening. And what family success originally was, as articulated by families, was what are the things that will promote success, and not necessarily have 20,000 programs around the various symptoms of distress. And then I think the other thing that I would like to say is, yeah, $4 million is really, we were shocked that it happened. It's $4 million out of $8 billion that the state has in their budget for, quote, vulnerable or disadvantaged families. And our challenge is somehow to, you know, with everything we've talked about, art and science, heart and mind, you know, love and determination and everything, bring a different experience in this industry to the people that we're here to supposedly help. And it's only going to happen if we do it in partnership with people in the community. So I'd like to thank everybody for joining today. Anybody have any other thoughts? I'm trying to provoke my Monmouth friends to say something, but I guess they're not going to jump in. We will have some point we will have a really good presentation from Monmouth Acts. Gloria Tansky in Middlesex County is doing some really interesting stuff, and she's very, very self-effacing. It's so interesting to me that the people who are doing the most are the people who are the humblest, as you could see from Dominique. So thank you. Anybody have any other thought?
I want to make sure that Julianne knows that we are excited about community action forums in Union County, because we are going to not only hear those voices, but we are going to stand strong with our assemblyman who has been such a champion of this. And Tom, we should make some reference to when our next meeting would be, which I hope will be in January, which would be the right time as we begin a new year, with or without a completed and enacted bill. And if not, then we'll be working hard to get it done.
Any final thoughts or questions or suggestions for improvement on all of this? Alrighty, well, do I hear somebody was about to say? It's 9:53, so we've completed our meeting a little early. So I want to thank everybody for getting up and participating, and let's hang together and, you know, keep on keeping on. So thank you so much.